If you're a fan of true horror stories based on Filipino folklore and real-life encounters with the supernatural, this tale will chill you to the bone. Welcome to another terrifying story where the line between man and monster blurs, and age-old traditions reveal something darker beneath the surface. This true-to-life story is set in the Philippines during the late 1970s, a time when cockfighting was not just a pastime but a way of life. What happens when a man, obsessed with turning his luck around, discovers that his opponent is hiding something not of this world? Let's dive into the eerie events that haunted a small provincial town, and the one man who dared to confront evil in its most deceptive form. Back in 1977, Tino sat slumped in the corner of the San Lazaro cockpit. He had just lost 3 matches in a row, and the weight of debt was pressing hard on his shoulders. He borrowed hundreds of pesos he was supposed to repay that same afternoon. But the debt wasn't what troubled him the most. What really gnawed at his sanity was his opponent, a mysterious cockfighter named Paquito, who had never lost a single match. What unnerved Tino was how unbeatable Paquito's rooster seemed. One strike and the opposing bird was down. Even stranger, Paquito always used the same rooster, and it never showed fatigue. "Tino," a voice snapped him out of his daze. "Aling Susan's looking for you. Got the money to pay her back. You know how our people work. If you owe them, they'll hound you." It was Dario, Tino's cousin. Both men were in their 30s, bachelors, and lifelong fans of cockfighting. Like Tino, Dario inherited the passion from their fathers. "Didn't you recover in the second and third matches?" Dario asked, raising an eyebrow. "No," Tino muttered. "It's not about the money anymore. I don't understand. His rooster's just like ours. Wings, legs, feathers. Same feed, same care. So why can't we win?" Dario nodded solemnly. "You're not alone. Everyone's been wondering about that guy since he showed up. All the good fighters are losing. Maybe it's time we stopped." They decided to walk home, resigned to their misfortune. But halfway through the dusty path, they noticed something unsettling, a frail, old man trailing behind them. "Do you know him?" Dario whispered. Tino shook his head. "No. I swear." Dario insisted they confront the old man. He could be one of those folks Aling Susan sends. Or worse. There have been rumors about cockfighters disappearing. Turning around, Tino called out, "Hey, Lolo. You need something? Why are you following us?" The old man stopped, let out a dry chuckle, and introduced himself. "Call me Tatang Elias. I wasn't following you. I was looking for you, Tino." The cousins exchanged uneasy glances. Tino frowned. "How do you know my name?" "I know many things. Like how your rooster fights well against others, but always loses against Paquito." That silenced them. Tatang Elias sat down on a boulder beside the road. "There's nothing wrong with your roosters," he said. "But you're not fighting a rooster. What you're up against is a creature, something not from this world. That's why it never tires. That's why it always wins." Tino scoffed. "What are you saying? That he's fighting a monster disguised as a rooster?" "Yes," the old man answered flatly. "And Paquito isn't who he says he is either." They ignored Tatang Elias and went home, brushing him off as just another village lunatic. But that night, Tino couldn't shake the words from his head. Later, as he fed his last 2 roosters, Tatang Elias appeared again, right behind the chicken coop. "Do you still think I'm mad, Tino?" he asked. "This is your last chance. Let me help you." Dario stormed out and told the old man to leave. But Tino felt a strange pull, part fear, part curiosity. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no either. The next morning, the final cockfight came. Tino's roosters seemed weak at first, but after letting them out and feeding them, they regained their strength. They reached the cockpit. As Tino was prepping, he saw Paquito from across the ring, carrying his ever-victorious rooster. That's when it happened. Tino stared at Paquito's rooster. Slowly, the feathers seemed to shift. The beak widened. The eyes turned bloodshot. And then he saw it, the face of a monstrous dog, snarling, hidden beneath feathers. He blinked. It was gone. Tino, Tatang Elias appeared beside him, holding out his hand. "Give me your rooster. Let me prepare it." Tino hesitated, then nodded. Tatang Elias spat on the rooster 3 times, whispered into its feathers, and inserted something into its beak. "It's just chili," he said. "It won't hurt. It will make him strong." Then he tied a special spur on the rooster's leg. "This came from a holy mountain," he added. "It will level the fight." Tino's name was called. He stepped into the ring. Paquito was already there, grinning. "Don't raise your bet too high," Paquito sneered. "You're going to lose." But for the first time, Tino felt calm. He gave his final bet, all the money he had, and stepped back. The match began. One clash, then another. For the first time, Paquito's rooster staggered. Tino's rooster struck again. Cheers erupted. The impossible had happened. The demon rooster was down. Tatang Elias stood by the ring, arms crossed. Paquito rushed to inspect his rooster, hoping to find a reason to protest. But the judge confirmed, "Clean strike. No cheating. That's your loss." Red-faced, Paquito shot a furious look at Tino, but froze when he saw Tatang Elias. Without a word, he picked up the carcass of his defeated rooster and disappeared into the crowd. Tatang Elias returned the small stone he had placed in the rooster's mouth. It looked like a red chili but gleamed like obsidian. Tino bowed deeply. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." "You don't have to," said Tatang Elias. "Just remember, evil hides where pride grows." That man was a sorcerer. The rooster wasn't his pet, it was his companion. But now that it's been defeated, he'll never return. Then he was gone. Dario, on the other hand, wasn't too happy. "I bet on the other side," he groaned. "You said we were going to lose again." Tino laughed. "And that's why we lost before. Not because of fate, but because we didn't believe." They never saw Paquito again. But stories spread about other cockpits where a stranger arrived with a strange, undefeated rooster. And every now and then, people claimed to see an old man walking near the cockpits, whispering to losing fighters. Perhaps it's Tatang Elias, searching for the next soul to save from a demon in feathers. Thank you for watching this horror story inspired by real events and Filipino folklore. If you enjoyed this tale of supernatural revenge and mystery, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on future stories from the dark side of Philippine history. Have you ever experienced something eerie at a cockpit or heard of similar legends? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and be careful who you place your bets on. Sometimes, the devil hides behind feathers and spurs.